I can paint and draw. I believe that myself, and some other people say they believe it, but I am not entirely certain that it is true. Two things alone are certain. The first, no self-portrait of me exists. I am not interested in myself as material for a picture, but rather in other people, especially women, and even more in other phenomena. I am convinced that, as a person, I am not especially interesting. There's nothing remarkable to be seen in me. I am a painter, one who paints every day from morning until evening, figures, landscapes, occasionally portraits. The second is, words, spoken or written, do not come easily to me, especially when I'm supposed to be saying something about myself or my work. If I have to write a simple letter, I get just as scared as if I was going to be seasick. So people will just have to do without an artistic or literary self-portrait, which is just as well. Anyone who wants to find out about me as an artist, which is all that's of interest, should look attentively at my pictures and try to learn from them what I am and what I want. Now, who do you reckon said this? I'll give you a clue. Think Vienna, close association to Egon Schiele. Think turn of the 20th century. Think of kissing. Think of today's date, the 6th of February, 1918. I'll tell you. It's Gustav Klimt, and I have been thinking and reading a bit about him today because today is the date that he died in 1918, February the 6th. He died from a stroke, just aged 56, and he died still with numerous paintings unfinished, I read today, and that year, oh my gosh, was like such a lot happened in that year. I mean, it was also the same year Egon Schiele died, as well as Otto Wagner and Ferdinand Hodler and Koloman Moser. So they're very, very important artists who were part of the succession, this artistic movement in Vienna at that time. And it also marked the end of the First World War and the end of basically the empire, the Austro-Hungarian Empire. And it was the same year that was the foundation of the Republic of Austria. Quite a monumental year, I would say. And yeah, so I was reading a little bit about Gustav Klimt, and I really like this quote from him. I liked it for the reason that he says, anyone who wants to find out about me as an artist, which is all that's of interest, should look at my pictures and try to learn from them what I am and what I want. And he says, in contrast, myself, there's nothing really remarkable to be seen in me. I love that for Klimt, and it seems to be a pattern with a lot of these artists who I become very fascinated by and very curious to learn more about them. David Bowie, Yukio Mishima, Egon Schiele, kabuki actors, Tamasaburo Bandao, ballet dancers. There's quite a wide-ranging kind of group of particular artists, but they all share this absolute obsessive conviction that they exist for their work. And for me, as I think about that, and as the words come out of my mouth, I kind of think about that in the most alluring and aspiring and kind of just magnificent way. You know, it's just, they are so serious and in love with their work. That's what drives them. That's what gets them turned on, if you like. And it's, I don't know, it's just such a, to me, these people are just like heroes, absolute leaders and heroes. And I think it's just their love and kind of almost single-mindedness about how important and necessary their work is, and the lifelong kind of pursuit of that, you know, in this little passage. And Klimt's saying this all like, I believe, you know, really humbly. You know, he's saying, I can paint and draw, I believe that myself, and some other people say they believe it, but I'm not entirely certain that it is true. So he's not even saying that he thinks he is, you know, this extraordinary painter that, you know, everyone else obviously thinks he is. Plus, in his short lifetime, he died 56, but, you know, Klimt was the greatest artist in Vienna, the most successful artist in Vienna, you know, a celebrity, a kind of complete powerhouse. So for him to kind of, you know, be saying that he's not even sure if he's that good. I mean, this isn't a verbose kind of quote from him, but he's just saying that in a really honest way, that, you know, he is basically, he is his work. That's what I'm kind of taking away from it. I have a feeling this week that the direction I'm going to be moving towards in my flower path adventures is looking at Egon Schiele and this time, this period, this kind of lead up to the 20th century, and looking at, I think a good starting point for me to look at with Egon is the people that were in his life, because I'm not entirely kind of confident about knowing all of the very intricate relationships. I know there's like Edith and Wally, and there's lots of kind of female, important like female figures in Schiele's life. Klimt actually and Schiele were very, very close and had an incredible amount of respect for each other. Klimt loved Schiele's works, as did Schiele for Klimt. And there's a fantastic photo which for decades apparently has been sort of misinterpreted. People have thought that this photo of Klimt and Schiele together is actually them, when in fact they are two actors from a 1980 film about Egon Schiele, which I was watching the other week. There's unfortunately no photo that exists of Egon Schiele and Klimt together. But I'm really, really looking forward to kind of trying to wrap my head around not just the life and work of Schiele, but trying to kind of put into place the very, very complex kind of historical background that is such a important aspect of understanding Sheila's work, for instance, and Klimt's work, of course, but the kind of crumbling Austro-Hungarian Empire, the backdrop of the World Wars, and the... Yeah, I mean, I was reflecting a bit on the way in which nature can be absolutely... It can just go from one extreme to another. I was sat in St James's Park earlier today and admiring the, serene kind of light and the kind of peaceful, tranquil, sort of early spring kind of atmosphere, and the swans on the lake, and just thinking how delicate and how sweet and harmonious everything in nature seems in this particular moment. The water, the trees, the paths, the birds singing. And then thinking about the devastating news that I woke up to this morning of the earthquake in Gaziantep and various parts of Syria. Hundreds of innocent lives lost to a natural disaster, nature, the earthquake. It's just as a phenomena, nature. It's just crazy. But why I'm mentioning that is because it also seems to me that, to a certain extent, looking at this period, what I will try to kind of get my head around more is this kind of duplicitous nature of Vienna as a city and the atmosphere, which on one hand had this kind of like kind of Victorian repressiveness about it, and a very kind of bourgeois element, and so much this kind of intoxicating darkness and lingering of war, and so many things. But then at the same time, the beauty in the art, the literature, the poetry. I was talking about Schubert last week, and now we're Klimt and Sheila, and whole plethora of other artists, in fact. So there's kind of there's this kind of double-edged sword with, when you look at this period in history and what was happening in the kind of mid 19th century, early 20th century in Vienna, and how these two things, how do you understand or try to figure out the relationship between the kind of the Spanish flu that Sheila died with, and going to war, conscription, and the kind of the state and empire and all of these things, and then the kind of poetic beauty, creativity, the expression, the love of life, the love of it's a fascinating subject that I am looking forward to looking into more and sharing more. And I want to finish with a question, actually, that I will say, how do you want people to find out about you? Klimt says very clearly, the end of his quote, anyone who wants to find out about me as an artist, which is all that's of interest, should look attentively at my pictures and try to learn from them what I am and what I want. So how do you want people to find out about you? Is it through your writing? Is it through your dress? Is it through your music? Is it through your body language? Is it through the way you move? Is it just through conversation and being with you in person? I think that's a really illuminating question. How do you want people to find out about you? And I guess for myself, it really is about the work. I want people to find out about me through the work I'm able to do as an actor, as a performer, as a theatre maker. And I feel like that's the best way I can express who I am, what I'm about, and what I want. Good night, and see you in the next one.